The learning is finally done. After 10 episodes of going into dungeons from normal to learn the route till +7 or +10. After all the vibes, bad plays, depletes, annoying affixes, I can now run any dungeon with confidence. I know exactly what bosses do and I know all the routes. It's finally time to push. For this episode, my goal was to get to 3000 RIO. For that, I needed to time all +12s. I still had some dungeons only at +7, and in this video I refresh my memory in +8. I get all dungeons to +10. I time my first +11, +12, I meet my viewer in +13 Floodgate. I open the vault and for the first time I had 3 options to choose from. Were the +12 and 13 way harder than +10s? Sit back and relax, I'll take you through the journey with me. But before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, it really helps out. Since the streets was the last dungeon I learned, I thought it made sense to push it further. I got into +11. I'm going into +11 right after my endless depletes trying to time +10 from the previous video. I was a bit tired and tilted, and right off the bat I forgot about the Paladin's enchant. I used Spell Ward on the mage to skip the interrogation mechanic. I know that mages can blink out of it, but the mages I did lots of run with had Shimmer instead of blink, so I just didn't want to risk it. But then the boss got the mage and warlock with a frontal. And again in my favorite pool I was too slow to drag the mini-boss away, and we pulled an extra dangerous pack. I was sent flying right into the net that stuns. Another attempt. While I'm rewatching the VOD, I'm cringing a little from the way I move, but it will get better. This time it's going a bit better, but then the mage decided to blink right into the next pack. The funny thing was that mage started blaming me, asking whether we were an MDI or what are these terrible pulls. We want to abandon the dungeon. I got into another +11 right away. This time around I moved much better. I found a better angle where to drag the adds away. Overall, this time it wasn't even close to pull the extra adds. A couple of more of these pulls and there will be no hesitation or danger. The run went well, the last obstacle was the last boss. When Shaman and Warlock got the debuff, even though I pinged to the correct teleport, I got flashbacks from the previous depletes. I managed to save them both with Hand of Sack and Lay of Hands. Well, almost saved. I quickly solved the next wave, but my team was a bit slow. Plus the affix was following one of the DPS players. The Warlock got the wave again and died. After that the healer got the wave and also died. At that time I had a lot of things to say. Emotions were overwhelming me. I stopped pressing anything, waiting for the boss to kill the rest of us. There was enough time for a second attempt. The tactics I used when I played Warlock in Dragonflight was that when you are clueless where to run, just follow the tank. They always react fast and play perfectly. All classes have some sort of speed increase, and on this boss you just have to be prepared and expect the wave mechanic. And just run with the mark on the tank. But alas, the healer also decided to gaze at the floor from a close distance. We barely survived. Well, some of us didn't make it. I was also close to dying. We barely killed the boss at the very last moment, before we all died. And we still had 23 seconds on the timer. And with that, I timed my first +11 as a tank. I wanted to forget this run as soon as possible. I tried to get into +12 streets, but I was declined a lot. So I thought that I had to get more RIO by timing all dungeons at +10 minimum. It's been a while since I was in Acadom last, so before going into +10, I decided to warm up in +8. Well, at least something never changes. People fail mechanics on the last boss. Anyway, a chill run and +12 RIO for me. Now it's time to run +10. Not much difference in +10 from +8. Also people failing on the last boss. +10 seems very easy to me now. I get 48 RIO and another +10 in my collection. I got into +11 next. In +11 no one failed the mechanic, only powerful and skillful players were in my group. Another +11 is timed, +17 RIO. Acadom I feel like is the easiest dungeon. To get more RIO I needed to time Dawnbreaker. I only had +7 timed, it has also been a while since my last Dawnbreaker, so I decided to warm up in +9. On the first boss, I thought we had enough time to kill it before the intermission, so I didn't drag it away much. But we ended up with a terrible intermission. I still don't know how Holy Paladin died having bubble of CD. No issues after that, I get the Keystone Hero achievement by reaching 2500 RIO. And on that, the Zero to Hero challenge ends. Thank you for watching. Nah, I'm just kidding. I still have to get to 3700 RIO. I get into +10 next. The positioning on the first boss was suboptimal, the healer died and we barely managed to stay alive. I was worried someone would rage quit. On one of the mini bosses, someone pulled an extra big ad, and also the healer directed the orb right into the wall, which wiped us. I like the fact that no one said anything, like it was part of the plan. Everyone just pretended like it never happened. I get 25 RIO and another +10 in my collection. Floodgate is next on the list. To warm up, I head into +8. On the first boss, the healer died from something, and while I was resting, my aim was a bit off, I failed to get the second bomb. I got unlucky with the rest of shamans in my runs. They constantly died. He was just dragged by the sonic wave through the void zone. And then again, but this time only the sonic wave. With the healer dead and the boss got buffed by the affix, I thought we were going to wipe on the next intermission. I saved the hunter with a heal and a spell ward, hand of sack on the paladin, and the boss just died. I only got 3 RIO. It's time to run a +10. On the last boss, our only bloodlust source died with 3 minutes left on CR. Somehow we got so close to wiping. I used spell ward on the healer and hand of sack on the paladin. The DK was dragging the affix away from us for some reason. I have always thought that the boss couldn't knock tanks off the platform, that there was always an invisible wall or something. So I was just standing there counting the seconds till the CR to get the bloodlust. With 25 seconds left on CR, the boss sends me flying. You should have seen my face. Depleting a +10 after half an hour in such a manner was ridiculous, and I was already anticipating the hate I would get from my group. The Retro Paladin tanked the boss for a couple of seconds, then the boss started channeling the intermission. It was the longest 18 seconds in my life. There was still hope that they would manage to res me before the boss kills everyone. The intermission is over, the boss killed the paladin, the boss almost killed the DK, and then the druid resed me. I instantly taunted the boss. The healer couldn't heal through the dot and he died. It was only me and DK with the boss at 19% HP and 2 minutes left on the timer. There was the affix and the spark just bugged and just stunned me from an insane distance for 8 seconds. Somehow I managed to barely stay alive without pressing anything for 8 seconds straight. This was the most chaotic boss fight I've ever had. I used Hand of Sack on DK during the intermission and healed as much as I could. And together we managed to kill the boss. What an insane fight. I get 42 RIO. And of course I apologize for getting knocked off the platform. I head into Halls of Atonement next. I haven't been there since the dungeon was nerfed a while back. I was a bit worried about the route, I got a new one from the internet and got into +8 to warm up. As one of my viewers suggested, I didn't tag the hunter at the beginning and waited for it to walk to us. But the first pool was almost dead by that time. To be honest, I didn't notice any difference after the nerf. We easily timed +8 and now it's time to time a +10. No deaths, no issues, no challenge in +10, a chill run and +41 RIO. And now I have all dungeons timed at +10 and some of them at +11. Time to get all 12s. A new reset happened and I hurried to open the vault. This is the first time when I completed 8 + 10 dungeons, so I'd have 3 mythic items to choose from. I had a chest with avoidance, a good trinket from Priory with leech, and a shield. I didn't know what to pick. I spent some time trying to read through the BIS list and guides. I decided to pick the trinket with leech, even though the professional tanks said that the raid trinket is much better than the tome. But I will not be raiding anytime soon. I also remember that I had another trinket also with leech. I have to use the trinket on someone in my group to get their highest secondary stat. This is just great. Now I have 2 trinkets that I have to keep track of. One to use at the start of the dungeon and then the other one use every time the tome swaps to armor. You will see a counter somewhere on your screen which would count how many times I forgot about the trinkets. I decided to start running +12s with the easiest dungeon in the pool, the Atonement. Finally, I don't have to worry about the affix anymore. And also a lot of strong players run +12s for the weekly vault. On the very first pool, I looked at the DPS and I knew right then and there that this is going to be my first time +12 dungeon. It was really a walk in the park. We quickly got to the last boss, I could already feel the RIO when I did this. From that moment, I started to dread this mechanic. I haven't worried about it before, but from this moment, it's the most complicated mechanic for me. I just couldn't see the thing I had to collect. I spotted it too late and I just wiped the group. It really is hard to see. I apologize for my mistake. We still had enough time to kill the boss. For the next attempt, I was extremely focused. The thought of depleting the key because I'm not able to handle this mechanic was terrifying. But this time, it spawned right next to me and I managed to handle it. And with that, I timed my first plus 12 dungeon. My friend with 3700 RIO needed to farm some crest, so I listed my own key, Halls of Atonement plus 11. It was a quick and chill run with only one death. I thought Atonement was the easiest dungeon, but after the wipe on circles, I now think that Halls is the easiest dungeon. After the run, I had Floodgate plus 13. When we got to the dungeon, something very unexpected happened. The healer asked me whether I was Palops from YouTube. My initial reaction was there's no way. I didn't expect to meet any viewers in the keys. I joked that I was famous. But then I started feeling the pressure. I couldn't let down my viewer with mediocre tanking. I had to lock in. And the thing is that I had to meet my viewer in the highest key for me. I had to put out my best performance. At least I had my friend in the group. The first pack melted quickly. We had a lot of DPS. So far so good. We get to the first boss with 0 deaths. And plus 13 feels like another plus 10 to be honest. I tried to get the last bomb with my back turned, I got the direction right, but it turned out that the boss charge is limited in distance. I wasn't worried about this particular boss, I think it's the easiest in Floodgate. Big Mama boss, on the other hand, was a bit more difficult. Also, I needed to set up the pool efficiently without anyone dying, and getting the ads with the boss. I decided to get the 2 ads at the start and the other 2 during the intermission. Big Mama hits hard, and also the Warlock got killed by the Sonic Wave. I hurried to res him, and at the time the intermission started. I ran back to get the 2 ads, my gameplay has improved. I stopped pulling the ads when boss is hitting me on the back and I'm not pressing anything. We started running out of space to play in. I like playing Paladin with its ranged kick. Unfortunately, the healer got killed by the Sonic Wave, but he had the resurrection thing. I panicked a little bit and used Lay of Hands on him when he got up. It was a very long and intense fight, but overall we managed fine. We get to the third boss, the timer is looking fine. Let's see how we handle the waves. Nothing that Lay of Hands couldn't deal with. My 15,000 RIO friend was doing insane DPS, but the waves got him. They don't care how much RIO you have. That was the only death on this boss. I was proud of my group. At that time, I thought we really could time this. I ran to set up the next pool and I got a couple of hits on my back and I just died. I was surprised how quickly I analyzed the situation when I saw that I had Soulstone on me. I calculated that it's best to sacrifice one CR charge then wipe. I got up and tried to set up the pool. I barely managed to stabilize the situation, but no one else died. We get to the last boss with 5 minutes left on the timer, and we had Bloodlust. I just had to survive the Tongue Buster and not be knocked off the platform. We actually did it. This is my first plus 13 as a tank. I got 63 RIO. Well, that was a good run. The healer wished me good luck with my channel, and if you're watching this, thank you for great healing. Couldn't time it without you. And now we go to Halls plus 12. But we aren't going there for long. Still an easy dungeon. The training dummy that heals is still as boring as ever. The bosses in Halls are a snooze fest. The last boss also died easily, and with that I get another plus 12 in my collection, and 28 RIO. My friend left me to push the real keys, so Dawnbreaker 11 is where I go next. Again I positioned the boss like a complete beginner, causing 2 of my teammates to die from the beams. I need to work on the boss. Other than that, uneventful run. Plus 16 RIO and we move on to Dawnbreaker plus 12. I definitely need to do something about the boss's positioning. I again placed it next to a wall and thus killed the Demon Hunter. That was the only death this run, and another plus 12 in my collection, plus 29 RIO. Gambit 11 is my next stop. I kinda missed the Mr. Captain Dragon boss. After Halls of Atonement and Dawnbreaker, finally an engaging boss. I like the way my group baits the puddles. The boss is at half HP and we have a lot of room to play in. Baiting is great, but stacking together could use some work. Here I show MDI level gameplay by using blind so that the pirates walk back into the breath. Well, the start of the fight we played perfectly, but then it was not the cleanest execution. The last boss is super boring. I got 14 RIO. Having warmed up in Gambit 11, I go into plus 12. My 20k RIO friend decided to take a break from running plus 40 keys and joined me. I finally remembered that I had a trinket that I have to use before each dungeon on my teammate. I have run a lot of dungeons without the 2000 crit, and I haven't pressed the other trinket tome even once. But this time, I'm ready. I pressed both trinkets at the right time. Nothing can stop me now. I gathered the first pool and we started blasting. When I said we, I meant only my friend. Havoc into so many targets is insane. We're back to the best boss ever. This time around, I quickly pointed the breath and didn't lose uptime on the boss while doing so. No uptime was lost on the next breath also. I didn't even look at the pirates. I was like Tony Stark walking away from the explosion. The next set of pirates was also handled well. I am improving a lot. I was DPSing the boss the entire time. However, the paddles were not placed well. The positioning was off and 2 pirates survived. We lost Retri Paladin and my friend almost went down. I saved him with a lay of hands. From there, it was impossible for me to hit all the pirates with the frontal. 3 of them survived. I just decided to drag the boss the hell away and focus it down. Well, good thing that this was only a plus 12 and the boss died quickly. Another plus 10 in my collection and 28 RIO. The next stop is Priory plus 12. And if we look at the DPS, 2 things catch attention. The insane DPS of my friend DH, and that I'm doing the same damage as the other 2 DPS players. As I'm rushing forward to get the huge pool, our healer dies. Not only did I gather the pool, rest the healer, and didn't die. Of course I had bubble, I love playing Paladin. Only by Priory plus 12 I come fully prepared for the second boss. I wait for the puddles before I rush in to soak the orbs. And look at this soaking. Thanks to one of my viewers who explained to me in the comments how the soak works. That I have to re-enter the circle to soak an orb. The next improvement is while soaking, I should still DPS the boss. And now, the most challenging encounter in this dungeon. The skeleton. My friend reassured me that he saved his burst and he would destroy the skeleton alone. But I'm no longer that scared noob tank I was when I ran Priory a couple of videos back. I came in prepared. Now it was just like any other ad. And another plus 12 in my collection. And I get 50 RIO. Back to the streets. And now I'm confident and I get next pull to the boss. I lost count of how many times I forgot about my trinkets though. Still struggling to drag the mobs away efficiently. Well, I need more practice. The main thing was that I didn't pull an extra pack. And my favorite thing, when warlocks body pull. I hesitated for a second what I had to do, fight or flight, but decided to fight. With 8 minutes on the timer, we get to the last boss. I wanted to time the keys so bad, I decided I will do everything I could, ping every teleport. I haven't been so locked in since the Floodgate with my viewer. I have wiped here more than enough times. I forgot to mention how nice it is to play plus 12 skis without the goddamn FX. This was the best last boss skill I've ever had in streets. No one failed the wave mechanic even once. Plus 35 RIO and I'm so close to 3k. And also the shaman traded me Beast's neck with a socket. I finally could replace my terrible neck. I'm now sitting at 710 eye level before the turbo boost. The last dungeon to get to plus 12 is Ara'kara, and I also need to get 49 RIO. I decided to skip plus 11, I was well warmed up and ready to tackle plus 12 right away. While running and gathering the first pool, my team was already taking damage. This is my favorite thing to look at. We had 3 deaths on the first pool. I was curious to see whether plus 12 Ara'kara would be enough for people to know how to position themselves on the first boss, in front of its face. But it wasn't, so I had to drag the boss far away. The next set of spiders was very close to the boss once the monk's ring disappeared. Well, as much as I tried to drag the boss away, it still managed to eat the ads. This is unfortunate. Maybe I will get lucky next time. In the next group, the hunter was doing insane DPS and only 1 death on the first pull. That is a good sign. And now, the ultimate test, standing in the right place in front of the boss. Well, almost perfect. When I saw the healer not in front of the boss, I started to drag the boss away, but the shaman ran to us. While we were handling the second set of ads, I remembered that I actually had trinkets. That is a challenging area. One mistake with this spell and I can easily die. The healer accidentally dispelled me at 3 stacks and I almost died at 25. With low DPS, it's kinda hard to stay alive. I had no defensives, the ads were dying slowly, I did everything I could, but without a bubble I died. A couple of deaths from the monk on the last boss, and I just noticed that it was probably a fresh character. And with that, I now have all dungeons stem at plus 12 with Floodgate at plus 13. Our run was a bit slow, so I still had 8 RIO to get until I have 3k RIO. To get the 8 RIO, I decided to go into Atonement plus 13. I even remembered to use the trinkets before the run. Even though we had good DPS, we failed to kill the ads during the intermission on the first boss. With 0 deaths and 9 minutes left, we get to the last boss. I was so terrified of the circle's mechanics. Throughout my runs in Atonement, I only failed it once, in plus 12, and wiped the group. And now I'm so scared I would do that same thing again. It really is hard to see the soul. I almost did it again. Thank God it was only overlapped with another person, not more. I feel like before the mechanic happens, I just have to take a step back a bit so I can see better the trace. I handled the circles mechanic easily the second time, and with that, I get to 3000 RIO. I get the achievement Keystone Legend Season 3. I'm so proud. I only have 700 RIO left to get. What's next? I will continue pushing. The goal is to time all dungeons at plus 14 for the next video. Turbo Boost is also coming. I'm glad that at least I got to 3k RIO before the Turbo Boost. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, drop me a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.